panel brought to you by the Controllers Council. My name is Neil Brown, Executive Director of the Controllers Council. And before I introduce our expert panelists and our partner sponsor, let me share some brief housekeeping items. First, we'll have Q&A at the end of the presentation. So please use your GoToWebinar control panel to ask our experts questions. Next, this webinar is CPE eligible with 4 polling questions. So please answer each poll or to benchmark your peers if not seeking CPE. Please allow up to 1 week for CPE certificates to be delivered to you via email. Also regarding CPE, you'll receive a brief survey directly after the webcast today, so please complete. And finally, you'll receive a link to this webcast via email in the next 24 hours, so no need for notes or screenshots. So with that, I'd like to introduce our partner and sponsor, Zip, the world's leading procurement orchestration platform, providing an intuitive starting point for any employee to initiate a purchase or vendor request. Zip helps businesses gain clear and timely visibility across all business spend and consolidates all the steps and tools used across finance and procurement processes in one platform. And with that, I'd like to introduce our today's panelists and subject matter experts. Joe Hull is Enterprise Solutions Manager at Zip. Previously 10+ years in procurement, including starting the procurement function at Airbnb and Robinhood. Wow, so big logos, Joe. Kevin Chen is controller at Zip with 13+ years of experience, and previously senior director of accounting at Opendoor, where Kevin was a Zip customer. And last but not least, Senad Mustafic is a seasoned chief accounting officer with 15+ years of accounting expertise. He's previously worked for Smartsheet, Concur, and Deloitte. Welcome, gentlemen, and Joel, take it away.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, really looking forward to this webinar. Looking forward to the conversation with you, Kevin and Senad. I think we're bringing some unique perspectives to this topic. Obviously, both of you with controller backgrounds, and me at Airbnb, we actually rolled out procurement from the controller's office. So that was basically the function pushing the initial rollout. So looking forward to the discussion, hearing about your experiences, and also hearing what recommendations we have for the audience today. So I think we want to start with a quick poll question. So I'm going to pass it back and we'll get going.
Great. Yes, let us launch this poll. And we have 4 polls. You have to answer 3 out of 4, so don't worry. First poll is, my company has a procurement process that includes corporate finance. So please select one of the following. Use your GoToWebinar control panel to answer the poll. Take a few seconds here. And then Joel, I'll leave it up to you after the voting if you want to comment on the results.
Yeah, I'll be interested to see these results.
So a few more seconds, please. Just a couple more seconds to get a good high percentage who have voted. And we have 3 more, so don't fret if you do. So let's take a look. Majority, yes, finance is part of procurement, followed by yes, but procurement not optimized. And only 14% corporate finance not part of procurement. Joel, I'll leave it up to you on whether you want to comment.
Yeah, no, I sort of assumed we'd get a lot of yeses. I think the yes, but procurement is not optimized yet is a little lower than I would have expected. So maybe you know, folks are further along than I thought. But yeah, we have a few more polls. I think we're going to really dig in to understand sort of where your pain points are and what you're trying to address today. So we'll be interested to see what that looks like.
Sounds
Uh,
good. Yeah.
awesome.
All right.
So yeah, I think first off, we obviously all have sort of different perspective, different journeys as it relates to establishing procurement. I think we want to start with you, Senad, on your journey at Benchling. Just to sort of tee you up here a little bit, what sort of initially sort of prompted you to think about procurement? And then would love to hear your sort of journey about how you went about it and how you ultimately, you know, sort of initiated the function there.
Thank you, Joel. Thank you, Neil, Kevin. It's great to be here. This is my first time speaking in front of Controllers Council. I'm impressed by the size of the organization and your overall membership. I'm really glad to be here talking about a very interesting topic, both procurement and ZIP along with it. In the intro slide, we went through some of my previous experiences, but I am currently a Chief Accounting Officer at 1Password. I have been there only for about a few days. So my experiences that I will talk about right now are from the company that I was at previously as Chief Accounting Officer, Benchling. Just for a little bit of background, Benchling is a software as a service company that focuses on customers in the life sciences space. You can think of their product being to the scientists who work in a lab as what SAP, Oracle, NetSuite, Workday would be to accountants. It's an ERP equivalent, but on the scientific side. When I joined Benchling, we did not have procurement. This was in 2021, very high growth company, again SaaS. We did not have procurement, which did not mean that we were not buying things. We were growing fast. We were buying software, we were buying services, we were buying goods, but there was no procurement function established. Very early on, what we, the accounting org, as we were growing, what we realized is that people across the company were involved heavily in purchase process. We had salespeople, engineers, executives, doing their own negotiations, running their own RFPs, RFQs, trying to do their best to organize, orchestrate, and execute on purchases for the company. That presented a concern for us, and I think most controllers, CAOs would be concerned with that from a control perspective, from like how comfortable are we that we have all these people across the company buying stuff on their own. And we, had some concern around that, but nothing significant. We recognized early on that people were doing their best. They were going through their negotiations with seriousness and passion. They were organizing these RFPs and RFQs. So the intent was there, it was good. But the reality was that the company did not hire these people for buying and for procuring goods and services. The company hired these people to deliver on sales goals, to code product, to lead the company. We recognized there was a significant amount of time that was being wasted by various different resources at the company, and we felt that that wasn't the right use of their time. We also realized that there was probably some money that was being left on the table because we recognized that people who are not trained procurement professionals, that those people are not as good at negotiating pricing as somebody who is trained and experienced in that. I can attest to that. I had to negotiate some of contracts on my own, and I know and I recognize that I'm not the best at doing that. And so we recognized we had a need to bring somebody in to focus on procurement. Initially, when we brought up the idea, there was a meaningful concern at the company around bringing procurement into the organization as a function. The main concern was the thought that if you bring procurement in, it's going to slow down the business. So we're operating at high speed, we're growing, we have passionate people who want to do their work. They want to get hold of their tools really fast so that they can deliver on their KPIs. And if you bring in procurement, the thought was that that's going to slow us down. It's going to take 2, 3, 4 months to get anything into the company, and we're just going to slow down as a business. In order to address that concern, and this was very important, we would not have gotten support to establish procurement function of the company had we not done this. We wrote a memo, and some companies you maybe don't need to write the memo, maybe it's a discussion, maybe it's a meeting, I'm not sure. But we wrote a memo that explained what are the different areas that procurement can focus on. And we listed 3. We said procurement function can focus on cost savings, number 1. Number 2, procurement function can focus on employee experience. And number 3, procurement function can focus on a vendor experience. The first one, the focusing on cost savings, everybody who touches procurement thinks about that, is aware of that, is passionate about that, no problem, self-explanatory. The employee experience piece is what was a differentiating factor for us and how we got aligned that we really wanted to implement procurement. The reality is that we as controllers, CAOs, and our orgs, we don't just exist to make sure that the numbers are correct, that we pass the audits, that we're reliable. We're also touching employee experience in quite a few areas within our companies, whether that's procurement, whether that's travel and expense, whether that's on the sales side, some of the sales ops work, deal desk functions, even invoicing of customers in a way impacts your employee experience because you may have a salesperson who is in connection with that customer and you don't want to create a bad experience for customer, therefore create a bad experience for your employee. So wherever we touch employee experience, we're influencing how our people are perceiving our company. And so if there is a passionate engineer who is tasked with coding a super important project and they have 3 months to do that, and to accomplish the project, they need to bring in either a consultant or they need to buy some sort of subscription to a service that's going to help them do their job better. If that is a true business need, then if we are procurement and if we want to contribute to employee experience, then it's our job to make sure that they get hold of that tool in a timely fashion. If they don't, and where we secure really good pricing, we have disabled our person from succeeding in the core function of their job, and that's not good for employee experience, it's not good for company. So in that memo, we showed the focus on employee experience, that is something that we want to think about and something that we can focus on if we as a company decide that that's a priority. The vendor experience is also